So in this video, my Ozone Hyperlink V2 13 square meter ends up in the water. Stays in the water for about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It does come out of the water in the end. And I'm foiling very, very light conditions. And I think I make some, even though it ends well, I make some tactical mistakes. And I'm just documenting this because I'm learning foiling. I'm finding it very interesting, all the different variables you have to think about. And one of those is foil kites and them ending up in the water and what happens. So here we go. So I start messing around with my camera right before a water start, and right there is my mistake. That's all I had to do. I just let the bar out. The green arrow shows where I should have had the bar. In these really light conditions, if the kite's flying right up at the top, and you just sheet out a bit, it can just go a little bit forward and then collapse. It doesn't do the Hindenburg stuff with pump up kites and tip and fall, but it just sort of collapses and then starts falling back into the wind window. So the attention you have to give is really, really high. Otherwise, you get into big trouble, like with just a small little mistake like that. And so just after that, you look up and watch the lines and they go slack. Now, sometimes you can grab, I have a brake line on there, and you can grab that and pull it and it'll straighten it out. But I wasn't able to pull that off on this one. So kite hits the water. Now the kite's in a pretty good position there, just straight upside down, and I should be able to pull on the back lines, fly it up a little bit backwards to flip it over, and then fly it up straight up. But the wind is so light that it's difficult to do. So to try to put more tension in the lines, I'm swimming backwards to put a little more tension in the lines, and then what's happening is I'm getting farther from my board. And that's one of the things I've found you really have to watch, is that I think you really don't want to separate from your board. If it's a very short separation, fine, but if it takes a while to get the kite up, the board can travel, even in light winds, really far. The foil boards tend to drift very effectively. They just point straight downwind with the waves, and the waves just bump them along, and they go. So I figured out that I didn't really, I'm not just yet. I'm still trying to do something with the kite, but I'm starting to look at the board too, and making one last effort. So I'm really swimming hard, and you can see the board now starting to get even farther away because I'm. And not only is it drifting, but I'm swimming away. So then, not happy about the situation with the board, so I go after it. The one thing here is that I'm close enough to the beach. I don't feel like I'm in any big situation. I could actually have just, without even rolling up the kite, just swam into the beach. It was close enough. So part of, I think, the success here was just, even though I made some mistakes, fairly cool head. But swimming after the board like that just puts more slack in the lines and can potentially lead to more problems with the kite. But anyways, I wanted to recover the board. So I get the board and I sit on it. And this is where I think I should have been from the start. I've noticed if I have the board on my feet and it's between me and the kite, which is great in some ways, you have the board and you can put pressure on the water, but I can't see the kite. And that's really important with the foil kites, because sometimes you really have to look closely. Now I'm swimming or paddling backwards on the board, trying to get tension in the lines again. But you have to be able to see the kite, because that will determine what you're going to pull on. Sometimes you just have to experiment. So what I did here is I started just pulling on the center lines to see if that might give me some more effect. And when I did that, just a little tiny bit of the front, the leading edge, showed itself at the top of the kite, so I could see one of the vents. So I thought, okay, we'll just keep going with this. So you can see how much I'm pulling on it pretty dramatically. And now you see the kite starting to open up at the top. And even in this totally weird folded up position, things start to look pretty good. These kids on the beach ask me if I need help, but right about then I got the kite up by pulling on the center lines. So again, lots of things to think about here. First of all, I should have never dropped the kite by letting the bar out like that. So I didn't need to go through it at all, really. But just that little move of the bar, kite's in the water. And then second, I think that I should have just taken the board right away, gotten up on it, and started the fight from there, rather than having the board separation be part of the whole deal. So that's what I got to say about that.